In the world of cryptocurrency, fortunes can appear overnight and disappear just as fast. One of the most shocking cases, a $600 million rug pull that left investors stunned, broke, and desperate for answers. In this video, we're breaking down the nightmare behind one of crypto's biggest scams, how it happened, who was behind it, and why so many people never saw it coming. And trust me, the twist in this story will leave you speechless. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell. Because in the world of digital money, the biggest risks often hide behind the brightest promises. What is Anubis DYOR and how did it start? Anubis DYOR emerged in late 2021 as a fork of Olympus DYOR, promising revolutionary staking rewards and community governance. The project marketed itself as a decentralized, autonomous organization focused on building a reserve currency backed by a treasury of assets. The anonymous team behind Anubis DYOR claimed they would create sustainable, long-term value through innovative tokenomics and strategic partnerships. The project launched with massive hype on social media platforms, particularly Twitter and Discord. Influencers and crypto enthusiasts promoted the token, highlighting its potential for enormous returns. The marketing campaign was sophisticated, featuring professional graphics, detailed white papers, and promises of transparency that would later prove to be completely fabricated. What made Anubis DYOR particularly appealing was its promise of extremely high annual percentage yields, sometimes exceeding 100,000%. These unrealistic returns should have been red flags, but in the euphoric bull market of 2021, investors were blinded by greed and FOMO. The project's website looked legitimate, complete with fake team profiles and roadmaps that painted a picture of long-term commitment. The mechanics of the rug pull. The Anubis DYOR rug pull was executed with surgical precision. The scammers created a liquidity pool on Uniswap and SushiSwap, allowing investors to purchase ANK tokens using Ethereum. Within just 20 hours of launch, over $60 million worth of ETA had been deposited into the protocol. Investors believed they were getting in early on the next big DeFi innovation. However, the smart contract contained a fatal flaw that wasn't immediately apparent to investors. The developers had retained administrative privileges that allowed them to drain the entire liquidity pool at any moment. This backdoor was hidden in the contract code, requiring technical expertise to detect. Most retail investors lacked the knowledge to perform proper due diligence on the smart contract. At approximately 2 a.m. UTC on October 29, 2021, the inevitable happened. The anonymous developers executed multiple transactions that drained every single ETA from the liquidity pools. The stolen funds were immediately transferred through various wallets and mixing services to obscure the trail. Within minutes, the ANK token became completely worthless, and the project's social media accounts went silent. The immediate aftermath and investor impact. The crypto community erupted in chaos as news of the rug pull spread across social media. Investors frantically checked their wallets, hoping against hope that their funds were somehow safe. The reality was brutal. Anyone who had purchased ANK tokens or provided liquidity to the pools had lost everything. The token price crashed to zero, and there was no way to recover the stolen funds. Personal stories of devastation began emerging on Reddit, Twitter, and Telegram. Some investors had put their life savings into Anubis DYOR, believing the marketing hype about revolutionary returns. Students had borrowed money to invest, thinking they could pay off their loans quickly. Families had mortgaged their homes, convinced they were making the investment of a lifetime. The psychological impact was immense. Many victims reported depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts after losing everything. Support groups formed online as people tried to cope with the financial and emotional trauma. Some investors had to declare bankruptcy, while others faced relationship breakdowns and lost homes due to their devastating losses in this single fraudulent project. Investigation and tracking the stolen funds. Blockchain analysis firms immediately began tracking the stolen funds across the Ethereum network. Despite attempts to obscure the trail through multiple wallets and decentralized exchanges, the transparent nature of blockchain technology made it possible to follow the money. Investigators discovered that the funds had been split across hundreds of different addresses in an attempt to avoid detection. Several cryptocurrency exchanges were contacted and asked to freeze accounts associated with the stolen funds. Some exchanges cooperated, but the decentralized nature of many platforms made recovery efforts extremely difficult. The scammers had clearly planned their exit strategy well in advance, using sophisticated techniques to launder the stolen cryptocurrency through various protocols and services. Law enforcement agencies from multiple countries became involved in the investigation. However, the anonymous nature of the developers and the cross-border nature of cryptocurrency transactions created significant challenges. The case highlighted the difficulties of prosecuting crypto crimes and recovering stolen funds in the decentralized finance ecosystem. Red flags that investors missed. Looking back, there were numerous warning signs that investors should have recognized before investing in Anubis.io. The anonymous team was perhaps the biggest red flag. Legitimate projects typically have doxed founders who stake their reputation on the success of their venture. The promised returns were also unrealistically high, defying basic economic principles about sustainable yield generation. The project's white paper was filled with technical jargon, but lacked substance when examined closely. Many of the promised features were vague or impossible to implement as described. The roadmap was overly ambitious, promising revolutionary breakthroughs that would have required years of development by experienced teams. These documents were clearly designed to confuse rather than inform potential investors. Social media manipulation was another major red flag that many missed. The project used fake followers, paid promotions, and bot activity to create artificial hype. Lessons for the crypto community. The Anubis.io disaster taught the crypto community several crucial lessons about due diligence and risk management. First and most importantly, investors must always research the team behind any project. Anonymous teams should be approached with extreme caution, as accountability is essential for long-term success. Legitimate projects have founders who are willing to stake their reputation on their work. Smart contract audits became even more important after this incident. Investors learned that they must verify that independent security firms have thoroughly reviewed the code before investing. Additionally, understanding the contract's administrative privileges is crucial. Any project where developers can drain funds at will should be avoided completely. From instant wealth to instant loss, this rug pull proves that in crypto, the line between opportunity and disaster is razor thin. What shocked you most about this $600 million collapse? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your reaction. If you enjoyed this breakdown of crypto's darkest scams, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone chasing the next big coin. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and never stop questioning the hype.